Most wholesalers, real estate professionals, realtors, agents will fail at finding leads and converting those leads into listings or contracts. That is just the truth right there. And the simple truth is because most don't have a sales process or system that they can use to follow up with these leads, with these sellers who are motivated to sell their property, particularly their property at a discount if you are a wholesaler or a real estate investor or professional. Now, let me tell you a story. I have the great fortune of bringing on a acquisitions manager. He's an awesome guy doing great work. And so I sit with Javon and I'm going over my system for following up with leads. I'm showing him the ins and outs. And as I'm showing him the different leads, I find and see that there's a lead that was labeled hot in my system, but it looked like it hadn't been touched in 2 months. So I'll make a note in my system to review it later that day after I get off the phone or off the training with Javon. And I review the lead and I give them a call. And as I'm looking through the notes, I'm having a hard time understanding where we are, what the situation is. And so again, I just smile and dial. When in doubt, just go ahead and smile and dial, right? And say hello. We catch up a little bit. She immediately recognized me. And I always assume that they know who I am. Well, not always. Sometimes I will call a lead and assume as if it's just a new lead. But for this one, I just felt like, hey, the name sounds familiar. She was labeled hot. Let me just check in with her. And I just gave her the old, hey, let me just, catch me up to speed. What's going on with the property? And she's like, whoa, yeah, well, I thought you guys weren't interested. I was like, what? Well, after your team came out, remember? You were talking to me. We couldn't get inside. The gentleman, what's his name? And I'm like, I thought she was confused. I thought she was wrong. I was like, no, we that may not have been us, but I didn't want to argue. No one wins an argument, and it's not. I mean, I didn't want to counter her, so I said, oh, I fell on the sword. I'm so sorry. I don't quite remember that. Must have just completely just dropped the ball there. Was it who was the person that saw you? She's like, Mr. Robert. So that confirmed, because Mr. Robert is an awesome gentleman who like my boots on the ground in Baltimore, Maryland. And so I vaguely remember this. I think it was around, I don't know, October or something like that. I vaguely remember, I think I was traveling. I think we were on the phone while I was driving, and they couldn't get inside. And so she said that I told her I'd follow up and just give her a blind offer. She was ready to go. This property somehow stayed in her name for too long. She's not interested in it. She wants to get rid of it. And we were ready to go. But I failed to follow up. Yikes, because I did not have a task or a notification to remind me to make that call. And I'm talking to tons of people a day, hundreds of people a day, and the lines start to blur, the stories start to blur. And so this impacts not only my credibility, but it impacts the opportunity to convert this lead and to generate revenue and to, most important, solve her issue or her pain or her problem. And you may find yourself in similar situations. You're paying a king's ransom for leads. You're getting all this data, or you're taking your sweat equity to knock on doors or to drive for dollars and write down all these listings and these addresses. And yet, when you make the call, hopefully you connect the dots, you build the rapport. But then after that initial call, you may forget to call again, or you may forget to make that touch. And remember, especially with discounted properties, the 6, 7, 8, 20, 30, 40, 50 touches it requires to follow up to make sure that you are able to convert that lead. And don't be discouraged by that, because most people won't do it. And if you're one of those people that stick to this and continue to follow up and work on your sales, negotiation, and really communication skills, you will eventually build a pipeline. So down the road, those 3 months of conversations that you've had will begin to just drop each day, because you're constantly doing the behaviors that fills up your pipeline and just allows it to bust. And you gain more confidence, you're solving more problems, your skill level is growing, and it just has a multiplying compound effect. But how do you do that? How do you get there? How do you make sure that you're not one of those people that drop the ball like I just did for that one? Now, fortunately for me, she hadn't sold the property, and we're still in the progress of getting the contract signed. I'm actually going to give her a call later today. I sent her over a purchase agreement last night for her to review, even though I do like to either be Zoom, shoulder to shoulder, or over the phone when I'm going over my purchase agreement. But this is, I had to make sure that I send it to her or fulfill some promise or obligation to her. And I told her I would send one over to her tonight or last night and review it today. So wish me luck. I'll let you know how it goes. But having a system in place for your leads is essential, folks. And most CRMs, that's the name that you'll hear in sales, or you've already heard, or you're familiar with, customer relations management system, right? Most CRMs should have some way for you to set up automatic communication cadence to ensure you don't lose your leads. Now, what does this mean? This means you can have a lead and assign it what we call in the industry a drip campaign. Follow the drip, follow the drip. Shout out to the, I'm gonna get you sucker. Yeah, that's a great movie. The Drip. Yeah, follow the drip. You know, the Jerry Curl back in the day. Anyways, I digress. So these drip campaigns give you automatic reminders or communication cadences that remind you that you need to call. And many of them will automatically, if you set it up properly, will send a text to your lead. They can even send emails to your leads. They can even send direct letters, mail, postcards to your leads. They can remind you to knock on doors, etc. It is a great way for you to not have the burden, the unnecessary burden of trying to remember, oh, who am I supposed to call today? It is essentially done for you. You set it, and then you just get in front of your computer or in front of your system and say, okay, what am I doing today? And let your calendar be your boss. All right, now please note, the idea is to convert to yeses or nos, right? These leads to yeses or nos, to see if you can serve, you can help, or not. It's not intended for you to rely on text or mailing or things that are going to avoid you having a quality conversation. That's not the intention of this. You very rarely are going to get a deal just simply through text or email. In fact, 90% of my tasks for my drips are reminders for me to call on specific days. Now, I set my drips up based on the code or the level of the lead. Primarily in my company, we have 3: hot, warm, and cold. Well, there's another one like Discover, which is essentially cold. Like, we're like, this person's in our system. We don't know what's going on. We have no idea. Let's discover. It's basically like a cold call. And based on those categories, we may have, hot lead. It may be a call every day, call twice a day, depending on how hot it is and which drip campaign I assign to it, on down to really less, longer intervals between communication from the super hot to the discovery and cold area. Now, I use a phenomenal tool or system for my CRM called RESimpli, RESimpli, RESimpli. It is awesome. I do have an affiliation with them as far as helping have offer a discount for folks who use my code to be able to get in there. You get 50% off the first month, but you do not have to use RESimpli. There are tons of other awesome ones out there. I really appreciate RESimpli because 3 years ago when I started using it, I heard about it. Was very new at that time. The owner, Sharad Mehta, is an amazing human being who was just so hands-on with his company, and he built it specifically for real estate investors. It's like, you may have heard of Podio, but it's like Podio on crack. And so it is, well, Podio on something that's nurturing, that's going to help you really explode and be efficient. I don't know if crack actually allows you to do all those things, but it's like Podio on something healthy for you. You can do a ton of things you can drive for dollars, communicate with your team. You can use it as a dashboard to see your company numbers, your key performance indicators, which you may have heard, KPIs, or your critical drivers, that behavior that's needed to make sure that you reach your KPIs. You can stack your data in your list to make sure that you're really searching for motivation. You can direct mail, text, leave ringless voicemails, bookkeeping, connect all your accounts so that you can see what's going on in one place. And it really eliminates the need for all these multiple subscriptions that you may have in different places, and puts it in one essential bill in one place, because you can really get $29.99 a month to the detriment of your business. So having an efficient system is so awesome. And if you're looking for one, RESimpli, again, you can use my free code, resimpli.com/Aqua Team. You get 50% off your first month. But I highly recommend, if you don't use RESimpli, you find some other tool or system out there that allows you to follow up, and hopefully they have some form of a drip campaign so that you can follow the drip and get these problems solved with your sellers and convert and put more money into your pocket. All right. If you need any help or anything like that, I gave you the code there, but feel free to reach out to me at doreideals.com. If you're an investor or a wholesaler looking to continue or strengthen your business, would love to sit with you and chat with you and see how we can help. There's free resources there as well, scripts, systems, all that good stuff. There's also deals if you want to partner on deals in Baltimore, Maryland area, or the Durham, North Carolina area, Triangle area. We're pretty much in those 2 locations, and we have tons of deals that we love partnering with. Go find those buyers and let's rock and roll. If you have deals and you need help, holla at your boy. Now, this is the Life in Transitions Experts podcast. I am the host of that, and this is the place where folks like real estate professionals come, as well as estate professionals and attorneys and anyone who's connected to helping people really through those big life changes or prepare for life changes, such as making sure that all this money that you're getting from this investings and wholesaling and all the wealth you're generating is protected through proper asset and estate planning or asset protection, and making sure that we are also helping each other grow our business by putting the word out there on all the amazing stuff we're doing. So please follow us, Life in Transitions Experts Podcast, on Apple, Spotify, Anchor, any other places. Would love a great review or really an honest review to help us grow and that follow and all that good stuff. You can follow me on YouTube as well, Life in Transitions Experts channel, and on Instagram, Life in Transitions Experts, or Courtney Rollins IG. Hey, folks, this is awesome work. Oh, of course, if you need help with probate, I have to say that's my main niche, helping families navigate the probate process, particularly when there's real estate involved. And so you can hit me up at estateproservice.com. All right, I'm going to sign off here. Hopefully this was helpful for you. And as I always say, rising tides, it lifts all sails. Peace.